You want to change your life and you want to be consistent and motivated, but yet you keep failing. What is going on? You see, you're doing all these good things on paper. You're wanting to work out, you're wanting to eat healthier, you're wanting to sleep more, you want to rebuild relationships, you want to do all these things. But the problem is you're making all these big plans and you're wanting to change your life overnight. And that's the problem, is because you're setting yourself up with all these big goals or even little goals, but they all add up. And you're setting yourself up for failure because once you start, dropping a few at a time, then you start getting annoyed, you get disappointed, and you just give up. So maybe what your problem is not the motivation, because you are motivated. It's just the consistency and how you execute that. So by the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 different tips and 3 easy ways that you can help rebalance yourself and help readjust how you think. And I'm going to end it off with a challenge that if you do, you might notice a new improvement, and it might be the little push that you need to start changing your life in the direction that you want. You are not the only one though. This guy right here, I am such a big dreamer. I have all these ideas. For example, Unashamed Journey. I have had such a vision for this channel for such a long time. But the problem was I was so fixated on the big picture that I'd get frustrated because I didn't take time to really think about the small stepping stones that I needed to take. And it was almost like I just had a vision but no direction and path on how to get there. And what it led to was a lot of years wasted and just me stalling because I didn't really have a good plan of attack. And you see, I was treating this Unashamed Journey channel as a big mountain that I saw the peak, and I was so fixated on the peak that again I'd get so frustrated when I couldn't climb the mountain, but I wasn't looking at my own feet, focusing on the small stepping stones that I needed to take in order to climb up that mountain. And don't get me wrong, I haven't even began to really climb this mountain, but I've started to gain momentum. You see, the small practices you do daily, consistently, when no one else is watching, is what sets you up for the big moments when everyone is watching. And I think that is the most important thing we need to realize is, there's moments in our lives where we need to be able to perform, or we need to be able to show up and do what we need to do. But if we're not prepared, then we're going to fail ultimately, right? There's this guy that I know, you might know him too, but he's a pretty popular guy back in the day. And he was such a monumental person and a leader, and he always had big crowds that wanted to see him and talk to him and just ask different things from him, and all were good things. But you see, one thing that he really mastered was being able to withdraw from the noise, withdraw from the crowds, and be able to take time and just set the tone right and set his mindset right. You see, what he would do is he would take time and use that to pray and to just focus on God and his calling and just really set his heart. Now, this guy was Jesus. And in order for him to be as impactful as he was to all these different people's lives, he needed to make sure that he was taking that time to make sure he was in the right headspace and to make sure he had the right stepping stones in his life in order, and that he was focused, and so he could better serve people. And I think for me, I just, I take that and I apply it to my life in the way of, setting your day right. For me, I also try to pray. I think prayer is such a good thing because it helps you, it can help you with gratitude and appreciate what you do have. I think it also can just help you just really set the right mindset and understand where you need to be and just prepare yourself for, again, those moments where it does count, where people do demand things from you, or where you're in a situation where you have to kind of be on. So I think that's a huge lesson that we can all take away. So there's three things that we can do in our life to help better prepare us for things in life. And it could be anything. But again, if you have this big picture that you want to change your life and improve your life or improve something, these three things will help. The first one is breaking down the big picture into smaller steps. See, again, maybe you're someone who just decides that they're going to work out and they're going to lose the weight, or they're going to gain some muscle, or you're going to eat healthier. We all have things in our life that we could be doing better and that we wish we were doing better. But you see, you're taking all these things and you're trying to change them all at once. And I've done this. I'm so guilty with this. And what happens is we tell ourselves that we're going to do this, but then we get upset when we start missing one of those things and we fail. So how about, instead of trying to change all of these things in our life at once, you pick one thing. For example, how about you decide to get up 20 minutes earlier than you need to, and if you want to start working out, do 10 push-ups or do 10 squats, or pick a small number. And it may seem like it's nothing, but once you start actually consistently doing that small task, not only are you actually doing something, but you're taking those little stepping stones and you're telling yourself that you can actually do it. And so that's where consistency comes through. The second thing that you can do is be prepared before you need to be prepared, right? You don't want to be building a foundation in the middle of a storm. You want to have that foundation built prior to the storm happening, right? You don't want to work on, say, having good communication and relationship during a huge fight. Because if you can't communicate and you're fighting, chances are that relationship is going to be negatively impacted, right? Third and final point that can really help you is keeping your word. And this kind of piggybacks off the first point. You see, when you set up all these goals on things you're going to change and things you tell yourself you're going to do, but then you start not doing them and you start missing days on a workout, or you start slipping up or whatever, you're telling yourself that you're not a man of your own word. And that even if you make a promise to yourself or you tell yourself you're going to do something, internally you're already self-doubting yourself because you've consistently made a pattern that you're not a man of your word, and that even if you say you're going to do something, eventually you're not going to do it. So you're already self-doubting yourself. And so when you make small goals and you make small promises to yourself and you start keeping them, even if it's small, right? Even if, again, say you tell yourself you're not going to buy coffee. Say you have 10 things that you need to change in your life. Even if you just pick one, once you nail that habit down and you've proven to yourself that, hey, I can stick to my word, then you can, take that stepping stone and, okay, now I'm going to change this part of my life, and just stick with that for 21 days or a few weeks. And then once you're done that, then you go to the next. And you see, after a year's time, all of a sudden you go from a year of wasting your time and being frustrated because you've made all these big plans and you keep not following through on them. And then, you started in January and then you get to January the next year and nothing has happened. You're frustrated. But if you take each month and you build one thing and then the next and then the next, it may seem like small steps, but in that year's time, you look back and you've made so much change that you're a completely different human and you're a completely different person. So that's how you achieve those goals. So I'm going to end this off by giving you a challenge, a 7-day challenge where you pick something in your life that you want to change, or maybe it's not something you have to change, but it's just whatever, a fun task. Pick something and stick with it. Do it consistently. Something that you can easily do in your day consistently, because when you build that stepping stone, you prove to yourself that you can follow through with what you say you're going to do. And quick tip, don't do this. You see, life might get in the way and you might fail a day, you might slip up or whatever, don't give that an excuse and a reason to just quit. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. The moment you start allowing your excuses to win, you're definitely not going to accomplish what you want to. So even if you mess up, you're in a 10-day streak and you mess up on the 11th day, so what? Do another 7 days. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing, and again, building those small stepping stones, because you don't climb a mountain by just jumping up. You climb a mountain by taking one step at a time. So to wrap this up, I just want to remind you, it is these small practices you do daily that prepare you for the big moments when everyone's watching. If you want to become a man worth following, if you want to become a leader or whatever version of you want to be, that does not happen overnight. It's a journey. We're not in a sprint. It's not even a marathon. It's just one step at a time, one consistent habit, consistent yes, consistent disciplined decision that makes us on the path and trajectory to becoming the man you want to be. So just, earn it every day.